Disclaimer: no content or footage within this video in any shape or form is in relation to the Nintendo Switch Sports playtest, and all instances of correlation are purely of coincidence.
Welcome to the SwitchClicksPodcast, episode 72, recorded on February 22nd, 2022. Today we're only joined by Nathan.
Hello!
So, from the lab that brought you the formula to determine which video game character would survive a horror movie comes a brand new concoction, the perfect sports game on the Switch. Listeners beware, as this video will make Nintendo Switch Sports obsolete. And with that, let's go. You can't hear it, but I'm rubbing my hands together very menacingly. All right, yeah, so we've been in the lab a little bit, Nathan and I, and we came up with the perfect Nintendo Switch Sports game. So I think we can just honestly get into it really quickly with as soon as you boot up the game, you see the title, work in progress, because we have not named it, and probably just Nintendo Switch Sports, if I'm being completely honest. Yep. And I don't know where this would be. Would it be right in the opening? I think as soon as you open up, there's at least the option right in the bottom for the Miitopia Me editor, or at least to import your creations from Miitopia.
Yeah, that would be really great. Having that customizability not only brings out the potential memes, but it also means that Miis actually get a bit more recognition.
Yeah, they get a whole lot more personality and also meme potential, I guess.
Yeah.
You now click start on the opening menu. Whatever music plays. Hopefully maybe like a remaster of the Nintendo Switch, the Wii Sports theme, and you're opened up to the world of possibility, by which we mean all the old sports that you remember.
Every single sport ever.
Not like 6 or however many is in the new one. So yeah. Yeah. So you see all these beautiful sports. You may be a little bit frozen with your choices. But
too many to count. Definitely too many to count there.
You're finally about to make your decision before you look down and see there's even more sports. So let's just get into our favorites of what we came up with for potential new sports. Nathan, you can go first. Pick whichever one you want and just
first and foremost, horse riding. I feel like there's a bit of a unappreciated aspect towards racing, as we've only gotten stuff like cycling and I guess a really chaotic canoeing sport. And I kind of want to see a little more of that competitive nature come out of Wii Sports. And I don't want to see it be exclusively stuck in other, I guess you could say non-sports games or party games. Because to some people, horse riding is a bit of a serious sport here. And I definitely want to... I see the potential in you actually controlling your horse with various tricks that you can do with their Joy-Con controllers.
Mm-hmm. And also, as we've already added Miitopia Me editor, Miitopia already had a horse and horse customization. So you just slide that one right into the game as well, and you can customize your horse and make Rapidash or whatever, run down and do whatever horses do.
Just imagine how well it would fit if you could just carry over your horse from Miitopia into this game. It would make a perfect fit.
Yeah, and speaking of races, who needs a horse when you have your own legs? Because you can also do normal racing, like a track and field almost.
Now, I know that this was covered in Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, I think pretty much all of them. But I was thinking something more along the lines of what they did with cycling, where it's more of a marathon cross-country type of thing.
If you've played Wii Fit, there's the jogging mini game where you run around. Is it? I don't remember the name of the island in Wii Fit. Is it Woohoo Island in Wii Fit?
I'm not sure if it's Woohoo Island. I haven't played Wii Fit myself.
Woohoo Island. And
let's just say it's Woohoo Island.
You can get engagement in the comments section, unless you're on Spotify. Which, anyway. So you're I remember playing through that game all the time, and you'd always the instructor says right at the beginning, "Don't run past me, or else you're gonna trip." But you'd always want to run past him really badly, and now you can. And that instructor is a real person who's either next to you or I don't know, across the world. Because also this game will have good online.
Yeah, I kind of hope there's a little more of a better online interaction thing rather than having some leaderboards like what or some
Yeah.
painfully laggy gameplay. I'm sorry. It's at least if they get the netcode right. I know a certain friend of ours would be really nitpicky on netcode.
Nintendo Switch Sports with rollback.
Honestly, that could work depending on the
I'm
sport.
not
Like,
sure if that. I don't think rollback would work with a motion control game. But
yeah,
anyway,
it probably translate really badly.
you get
Um,
like Elite Smash if you do well enough. You have the VIP.
elite swordplay.
Yeah, you get it in each individual sport.
Well, I
Uh,
guess that could be a subcategory, but
that could work. That could work. I feel
maybe.
like you'd go there and you'd either find the best sword fighter in the world or like a 6-year-old who's really good at shaking the controller really fast.
Fair enough. Yep. That was the chaos that went down in resorts, and I
Hmm.
kind of hope that stays just because of how fun it is.
And just
Um,
to get back to racing a little bit, I think when you are like doing like an 100-meter sprint or a marathon or whatever, instead
yeah,
of it just being, it could be, I'm thinking of either two ways you control it. It's either like you you can just shake your arms as fast as possible, and maybe that
yeah.
makes you run, or it's like you do better if you're moving fast, but have a rhythm to
A
it. It's have
rhythm
more strategy.
definitely, a rhythm definitely makes things a lot more interesting. And I'd
Mhm.
say like maybe if you're to go uphill or downhill, the rhythm changes just because of the terrain.
And as much as I'm not sure, like Nintendo Switch Sports wouldn't really be known for this, but it'd be kind of cool if the rhythm kind of goes with like the music in the background, even if it's like a kind of like a calm piano or something when you're running, or like you go downhill and the music starts to speed up, and if you keep with the rhythm, you do better. Because
That's an interesting idea.
I find rhythm in games to be much easier when there's a song playing for pretty obvious reasons, but at the same time that might make it too easy or like too much like Rhythm Heaven or something.
Well, now that you mentioned it, I know it's not in our. I know that we never came up with this in the lab, but how about
You're going off
a music
script.
player? How about a
Stop
music
him.
player? How about a choice of music that we can choose between for
Yeah,
the game in
that
general? Like
that would like you could
honestly,
do classic Wii Sports sounds, maybe like a remastered Wii Sports or just
yeah.
entirely new songs.
Because I know some sports have different tracks. Like bowling, for example, they did change the bowling theme when they moved to resorts to something a little more
Oh,
upbeat. And I
okay.
was thinking, what if they were to offer like some choices of music? Like if you were to play golf, instead of having to listen to nature, you could also listen to music.
Yeah.
Or yeah, like something along the lines of having a bit of a customization with the soundtrack would be nice.
Yeah, and this kind of goes without saying, but this game I feel would be exclusively Mii's, and you wouldn't have like whatever the new games
Yeah, I don't
Mii's
want Mii's
are.
to have an identity crisis at this point. So yeah, please bring back the Mii's and
The world's
make
inhabited entirely by Mii's, with maybe we'll get to it later, but maybe it won't be entirely Mii's. They'll be like, but it will mostly be Mii's.
make them a priority. Make
Yeah,
them a big priority.
and so you don't have like the what did I call them before? Temtem protagonists.
Sure, sure. I don't
Um,
remember, but
Anyway, moving on with our sports, we have fishing, because no
yes,
game
fishing.
is complete without a fishing mini game.
Come to think
I
of it, I don't think we've ever actually had a legitimate fishing game that the Mii's can do. Because let's say like we play, for example, they sort of
Replay did have one, yeah, but it's like
they
fake fishing.
it was like you're fishing for like paper fish in a fish
With
bowl
magnets, I think.
with a magnet. It wasn't real fishing, even though it kind of felt like it was. But hey,
Hmm.
first time for everything, you know?
I don't really know how you'd make the controls very interesting. You'd play if this would
Well,
be like, how would you do competitive fishing? Like, because would you be versing
I
someone
don't know
else
if
maybe?
competitive fishing exists in the world. Probably it probably does, but like
Yeah. Well, anything
it
can be
could
competitive, I guess.
it could make good use of the Joy-Con's HD rumble.
Well,
That's for
that's
certain.
true. Honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I think this would be like a really good fit for the for something else that we'll probably get to after the new games. Anyway,
Yeah.
up next we have rock climbing, which I don't think has
Yeah.
ever been done
This
in
was
a
definitely climbing has ever been done in general when you think about it.
yeah, and maybe there's a reason. Maybe it would suck, but you'd at least want to try it out.
It's technically a sport. And
Yeah,
I was kind of surprised to see that it wasn't in Wii Sports Resort, considering you're on Woohoo Island and there is a huge volcano there that you could be climbing, but instead you never got to.
which kind of strolls into the idea of every sport having different maps.
Yeah, that
You be
too.
you be climbing Woohoo Island or maybe Grumble Volcano.
Yeah, because
Who knows?
very few sports, I think, have actually gotten map choices. Like I
Yeah,
think
and I think that would be just cool to have.
golf. Yeah, like
Mm,
having
yeah.
even having different environments would be nice. But like if you're looking at golf, for example, that changed up. I think Wii Sports Club changed up the whole meta by having your classic maps, your resort maps, and then the actual maps original to club. So I feel like what if by choosing maps, what if they were to actually affect your gameplay as well? Like Tyler suggested with like where you're climbing.
Anyway, with rock climbing, the controls I think would be a little janky, at least how I'm thinking it, where you almost
Yeah.
like it's almost like VR, my idea, where you'd like put the Joy-Con
Yeah.
up to a rock surface, and the Mii grabs on
Hmm.
and move the Mii freely um off that pivot with like
Yeah.
obvious restraint. Like you wouldn't be able to do 360s around this pivot area. But maybe like the further you outstretch yourself,
Hmm.
the harder it gets. I don't know how you'd make it physically harder because you can't really like maybe you'd get like a vibration in the controller and then you'd try to grab the and you'd be climbing and you'd look very stupid. But I think it'd be kind of fun. Um, maybe you want to like throw yourself to the next rock if it's like too far away and you miss or something to a previous rock.
Hmm.
So you could also race this, but I feel it could also be this could also be like a single player thing, or it could be a who gets the farthest kind of game up the rock wall.
Kind of like a endurance type of thing.
Yeah, and I personally feel all our sports so far have been way too warm. So let's get into some winter sports, and by that we mean two winter sports. There it's not a very good variety, but we'll deal with it
Yeah, the rest kind of could fit into the Olympics, so I figured we just chose the ones that felt the
for
best.
the most
And
fun.
the first one
Yeah.
is technically not a sport, but I guess we gotta give me Gunner a bit of respect here. Snowball Fight is gonna be our
Yeah.
so yeah, Snowball Fights could basically either deviate from the archery mode, where you try
Ooh.
instead of using a bow and arrow, you would use a snowball, and you would have to like aim it very differently because it's you're throwing it in an arc rather than shooting in a straight line. So
Yeah.
it could make an interesting result. Um,
Maybe
or potentially,
you can
it could lead to a bit of a PvP situation.
one starts behind like a bank, kind of like a I think there's a Mario Party mini game similar to this, where everyone's kind of
Yeah,
behind a bank of snow and you duck down to collect snowballs and then you try to throw them at other people. And like maybe you can
yeah,
pick if you want to do like more of a straight shot snowball or try to lob it over to the other person behind the other person's thing for when they're like ducking. So it's
hmm
like if you lob, you would miss them if they're standing up, but hit them if they're crouching, and then like fast throw would you'd miss them if they're crouching, hit them if they're
yeah.
standing. I think that'd be pretty cool. And our final sport, do you want to do the honors, Nathan?
Our final sports. This was actually suggested by Dakota. Is skiing. Skiing has a lot of possibilities, especially if you're going to be using two Joy Cons. And this is the type of thing where I guess you can argue snowboarding could be done, considering, like they're typically associated with each other in terms of alpine sports. But the thing with skiing is just imagine you're actually skiing down a hill and you have to turn and you have to make some jumps, whatnot. Just
Mm-hmm.
imagine being able to do that with a set of Joy Cons and you're kind of feeling it in the controller.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that I think, especially considering like you're holding two Joy-Cons in either hand, it's kind of like the perfect fit. We were originally talking about snowboarding, which would kind of be the same thing. Maybe like you strap it to your legs, kind of like the thigh straps. But I think like physically holding the, what are they called? Ski picks?
Picks.
You can
I
tell
don't
neither
ski.
of us ski.
Yeah, tell us. We're Canadians and we don't ski. That's a bit ironic. But
So
yeah.
with the sports out of the way, you've had a grand old time playing through them all. But there's one other thing. You see next to all these sports, there's a little hut. A little hut with big glowing letters that say arcade. Well, it's enticing, isn't it? There's big glowing letters that say arcade, so you want to go in and see what
So
it's
you wonder what
about.
it is.
And, well, to be 100% fair, this is probably a little too big for like a game. This might be, we're going a little bit into the over-ambitious territory. But inside this arcade, you can not only play a curated selection of mini games from We Play, like presumably only the good ones. You'd also be able to play the old NES sports games. They're not very fun, but I think that'd be a cool addition. That's Nathan's idea, by the way. Not gonna say I came up with that on my own. I'm not gonna steal your thunder.
It kind of does make
On this.
sense if you look at certain sports games like NES Golf, where they pretty much where Wii Sports kind of just copy and pasted the courses. So you're basically going back to an 8-bit version of those courses.
But I think realistically, anyone would just go there to play like that one game where you're riding a cow and you're trying to chase down the scarecrow or something.
Oh boy, yeah, I'd rather play that than.
Yeah. Whoa. We came up with horse riding. Don't knock it till you try this thing that will never exist.
Good point.
Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss an episode by clicking the subscribe or the follow button now.
Okay, so the arcade was a good time, good fun, but you go back to playing some of your sports, and you start getting really good at bowling, and then the little bowling symbol turns gold, and you see
oh my gosh,
a new area. A new area's opened up. Whoa, what could it be?
Holy!
It's a boss fight arena. Whoa, what does that mean? Okay, I'm gonna go out of like narration mode. So I've recently played through the old Pokemon Stadium game, and basically how that game worked is once you could do like solo fights, and once you beat the ridiculous amount of RNG based Pokemon fights, you'd unlock the Elite Four or the Gym Leader Gauntlet, where you just fight all the gym leaders in a row. I don't love how that worked actually, but I feel like it's because I feel if you unlock the gym leaders segments, and then you kind of fight the Elite Four afterward, that's a better way to do it. So my idea is like maybe you wouldn't have obviously like a cinematic of a castle popping out of the ground or something. It's like the boss fight arena, but there's like maybe a locked off area that you later unlock, and it's a boss fight arena where once you gold every game, there's a proper boss fight. So it isn't just Matt, who's quite a bit better at the sport than everyone else. Maybe it's like a newly rendered model, not a me. Maybe it's a different Nintendo character.
Oh,
like
plot
it's a
twist.
Nintendo character who's like great at this specific game. So now you fight this Nintendo character or something. And I don't know what you unlock. Maybe you get clothing items for your Miis or something. Like you could dress your Mii up so you gold beat him after you gold the sword fighting mini game or something. Or the archery.
Yeah.
Link's crossbow training.
You fight Ganon so all of a sudden because you're really good at sword fight or archery.
Yeah, you just fight like a Nintendo legend who's really good at this specific sport, which would get a little convoluted because you're like, who's really good at bowling? Kirby. Kirby's a ball.
I don't know, the one kid from Nintendo Power that no one remembers. I don't know. It's a crappy
Nintendo
reference.
Power Kid boss fight.
It's a crappy reference, but he was in a Virtual Boy game, so.
But yeah, I think once you like beat this boss fight, maybe you just get like clothing items for your me or something. But I just like the idea of a final boss fight for that specific area. So there's almost like a little bit of completion. I don't know if there'd be like an Elite Four where you fight the best of the best. I think that's something that would
gauntlet mode.
That's only that. Yeah, maybe like a final gauntlet where you fight all of them in a row. You fight every boss in a row. Yeah.
From every sport. That would
And then
be
it
really
ends with
interesting.
like a secret boss. I don't know who the secret boss be. I'm
Matt?
thinking like it's Matt again, but he's not a me. He's now a fully rendered
oh gosh.
He looks like the demon from the fitness game Ring Fit Adventure, except it's Matt. Or it could just be the demon from Ring Fit Adventure. I think that'd be a funny nod.
Yeah, sure.
And then I don't know what you get for finally beating him. Maybe you get
bragging rights.
Maybe bragging rights. Or maybe that's how you that's how you unlock the VIP sports, like Elite Nintendo Switch Sports or something, where you can do like the Elite Smash variant. Something like that.
Are you kidding me? Elite Smash?
Yeah. Or it leads into the second and let me check. Is it the final idea? Yeah. Or second last idea, but the last one's like a tack on, not like a final idea. Maybe once you beat him, you unlock dream courses, which I think I brought up in the Mario Kart podcast, where I'm just going to reiterate, in Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games 2012, I think it is. I don't really remember. You could play dream courses, which were pretty much the normal courses except there was like some weird twist on them based on Mario or Sonic. The ones I really remember are figure skating, where you'd fight Chaos from Sonic as like a final boss, or you'd be figure skating through Bowser's Castle. Something like that, where like the dream courses for each sport, where I don't know. I think that would maybe just the more I'm just explaining it, and I'm realizing this ties in a lot with maps. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's like just deluxe maps. You unlock deluxe maps where maybe you're fighting, maybe like I don't know. Now, the more I'm thinking about this, the worse of an idea it's getting, and I'm falling apart.
I guess just a bit of a bonus here, because Super Smash Bros. Kind of did this. How about we give the Wii remotes a bit of compatibility here too? Because I feel like the controls would feel very familiar. It would be very easy to translate if you were to bring in a Wiimote, and not like only that, but yeah, you'd also get a sensor bar, which, believe it or not, is actually a very important part of using motion controls. And I know this from my experience with Skyward Sword HD, where the game is heavily intensive on aiming, and unfortunately, I have to say this, but Joy-Con motion controls are not as good as Wii remotes. I want to put this out there. It's a very big misconception that Joy-Cons have more advanced motion controls, because the reality is you're gonna come across some of these issues that I like to call motion control drift.
Ooh,
think of the same idea as Joy-Con drift, but it's with motion controls. All because you don't have a center bar. That's one of the fatal flaws that made me stop using motion controls in Skyward Sword. So, what would happen in Switch Sports if that was the case?
And like Nintendo Switch or the sports games are kind of famous for being tied in with something else. Like, wasn't Wii Sports Resort that had the like Wii Motion Plus built in? Wii Sports was tied into the Wii. This one can be tied in with the promotional Nintendo Switch Wii remote.
Honestly, I would love to have that, considering I can't stress this enough. I can't stress this enough. The sensor bar saves your life all the time. Like, you
I really like the
need
idea
it.
of the packaging the packaging's like Nintendo Switch Wii Remote, and then like really bottom small text in the bottom plus sensor bar.
Yeah, honestly, I'd love to have that.
I feel, Dr. Nathan, we're showing off our beautiful concoction, and I feel it probably isn't ever gonna happen. So
Unfortunately,
maybe if one of you out there is really good at making games, just make it yourself, and then you're probably breaking a lot of like copyright law, but just deal with it. Nintendo isn't known for cease and desists, right? So you can just go on without it. And then yeah, just I think we can cut a deal. 100% of the profits go to us. Thanks.
Yes.
There we go.
Thank you.
We've made a deal with that one person that knows really well how to make video games, and we're getting we're hoping a couple years down the line we make 100% profit, and we're making a lot of money off of this, and we can just go into early retirement. At least
wait. 99.9% profit. Okay.
Okay, well,
let's
I
be a
think
little
you're
bit
being
more.
a little too. I think you're being too generous. I think you're
No,
being too generous.
no. 99.99%.
Fine. Ugh, you're so generous. Giving them really 0.01.
Yeah. What can I say?
Really? Okay,
Tisk,
fine.
tisk.
Fine. You're good. You're good at bartering. You're good at bartering. And I guess that game will have to be made because once I sell my patent for the Nintendo Switch sports suit that physically hurts you when harm is caused in the game, once that inevitably causes me like multiple lawsuits, I'll probably need to lean on this this idea that we've agreed on with that random person. We're going to need to rely on that for money when I'm in the hole. Thank you in joining us for discussing our science experiment that was Nintendo Switch Sports, Switch Clicks Edition. We would love if you could follow us on Twitter and listen to future episodes on Spotify and iTunes. Join our community Discord server to continue today's discussion, and we will see you next time on the SwitchClicksPodcast.
Are we still recording? We are still recording.
Yes.